Hello everyone and welcome to a new show on the channel, the Backlog Files. The show dedicated to finally giving me the time that I need to play some of the biggest releases that I've not picked up yet, despite buying them on or close to release date. So with that in mind, let's get started. Rise of the Ronin was one of those games I saw on a PlayStation State of Play and immediately knew I needed to play it. I was an enormous fan of Ghost of Tsushima when that was released, so knowing that we were getting a game that was essentially more of that, plus guns, was super exciting to me. I picked this up on release date alongside Princess Peach Showtime back in March, but it sat on my shelf until this last month when I finally decided to play it. This game was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the overall backdrop of the game, being set in the late 1800s during an important part of Japan's history. It's even loosely based on real events, down to having real-life people as characters in the story that you can learn more about through the encyclopedia if you're curious. It scratched that perfect itch for someone like me who enjoys history and video games. In terms of gameplay, I had a decent time with it. There's nothing terribly complicated about the combat, but you can go super in-depth with things like combat styles if that's something you enjoy. I did find that the combat got fairly boring by the end of the game, but there were some moments like the late game boss fights that reignited my love for it briefly, as they required more thought than the normal enemies that became essentially cannon fodder by the end of the game, even trying out the hardest difficulty after beating the story. The open world aspect of it was quite nice, and looked incredible in some places on the map. In terms of the collectibles, there are your standard run-of-the-mill open world fare. There are cats, treasure chests, and landmarks to visit on the map. The most interesting collectible was the fugitives, which were essentially a series of mini-bosses scattered around the map. It was really fun finding them and fighting them. Nothing felt too overwhelming, since the map is split into 3 separate zones that each have around 12 sections, so breaking down the collectibles into more manageable pieces was made easy. With that being said, the first episode of the Backlog Files also doubles as the next episode in the road to 100, since I decided to get the platinum for this game as well. The trophies were incredibly straightforward and quite easy overall. Basically, you just have to experience at least one of every major activity in the world and game and finish the story. There are a handful of combat trophies, but nothing that you won't inevitably just get by playing the game, which honestly is my favorite type of trophy for a game like this. Finishing Rise of the Ronin makes my total platinum count up to 90. 10 more to go. Overall, I had a lot of fun with Rise of the Ronin. It had some low points, but I feel like it kept its pace well enough that there was never a point in the adventure that I felt like I wanted to put it down. If you haven't played this game, or completely forgot it existed, I would say you should pick this up and give it a try. What's the top game on your backlog? Let me know in the comments below and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.